Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast, where we're focusing on a really busy weekend in the main at Cheltenham. Cheltenham's November meeting, where the feature is the Paddy Power Gold Cup, and an excellent, tricky-looking renewal it is. And we've also got the not-so-small matter of the Morgiana Hurdle, the Grade 1 from Punchestown on Sunday. We've got the Greatwood Handicap Hurdle that day as well from Cheltenham. So there's lots to get through, 9 races in total. We'll do Cheltenham Saturday, then Cheltenham Sunday, and then we'll do the Morgiana on Sunday to close things off. We'll have best bets each day for you as well. Welcome along. Steve Jones is back for a little bit more. How are you, Jonesy? All good?
Yeah, very well. Thank you.
Good to see you. Adele, you're back. Lovely to see you. You're good?
Yeah, I think you all did really well though last week without me anyway.
We would have done even better with you. We had a good week, but you were much missed. And Deasy, how are you? Good to have you back, pal. All well? He's muted, but other than that, he's done well. Go on, so you can speak, Dee. Say something. How are you? No, well, we'll work on that. We'll work on that. What he has to say is normally great content, but we'll wait for it.
To be fair, that was easier to understand than a lot of what he has said. Lip reading's better than trying to decipher the Cork accent sometimes.
You should have heard what I said as well. Yeah, all good here, Tom.
That's it. I'm glad you're well. I'm glad
now that I'm unmuted, everything is perfect.
Good. We're a minute 40 in, and we found out that you're good. That's excellent. Right, let's get into the. In fact, first of all, let me remind you that you can like our content. So please do. If you're watching on YouTube, if that's how you choose to enjoy our content, then please give this video a like and subscribe as well. And if you're listening on the podcast, whichever podcast app you're listening to, give us a review and also subscribe as well. Don't forget to go to insights.matchbook.com for a recap of all the bets we put up. Insights.matchbook.com. I know a lot of you have been using that of late, so that's very useful for you and good for us as well. And that features all the tips across all the sports that we're putting up. The NFL boys have been flying along of late also. Okay, in we go then to the first of the previews. Oh yes, I'm going to remind you we did really well. We're going to blow smoke up our behinds. So this is what it would have got you last week. A £1 stake on all of our Saturday picks would have landed you 31.58 profit, and that's on the Matchbook Betting Exchange. If you'd have backed them at Industry SP, you'd have got £23.60 back. So, you're more likely to get best odds with the exchange. Now, that 31.58 is subject to 2% net commission, of course. That takes it down to about 30.69, I think it is. So there you go. But you'd still been in good profit if you'd have backed them on the Matchbook Exchange with the better odds there. We had plenty of winners there. We had a good Breeders' Cup time of it also, because Jonesy loves the Breeders' Cup. Let's get into the first of the previews then. Here we are. Competitive stuff for this novice chase. You've got third time lucky, as you can see on the Matchbook Exchange at 1.44. Mick Pastor at 5.8. Captain Tomcat at 9.8. Sebastopol 18.0. We're not going to spend too long on it. These prices are correct at the time of this live broadcast, as you can see. But Steve and I are on the fence, really, when it comes to this one. I think we both think third time lucky will win, but we won't necessarily have a bet. But interesting enough that DC and Adele want to give a warm mention to Captain Tomcat, and you can play that horse in the without the favourite market. Adele, is that how you'd go probably with Captain Tomcat here?
Yeah, most probably. I think he's just too short, isn't he? Third time lucky. I'm sure he's going to get everyone off to a winning start, though. But I just think Captain Tomcat, he just never runs a bad race at Cheltenham, does he? And he has to have good ground, though. That's the only concern with him. But it's good to soft down there. So I think we should be all right. There was a little bit of drizzle this morning, and it's supposed to be clear now the rest of the day. And hopefully it'll stay dry for him. And just the fact that he goes so well there, I'm thinking he'll, pull in the second place and hopefully give a good account for himself, as he always does there. But third time lucky, I think he'll win. So I've just gone for something just for a little bit more value.
Yeah, Dees, what do you want to add to
that? Nothing really Adele said at all. I just think Captain Tomcat he's a very good horse. He was very good last time. He made all and beat Mick Pastor fairly easily. He's given him £5 today, but I still think he'll definitely run his odds, and he's a cracking bet to come second.
Ahead of Mick Pastor, who would be ahead of that horse in the market currently, Captain Tomcat for Dr. Richard Newland and Charlie Hammond. The only I was going to ask you a question, Jones. If you want to ask something, so take it away.
Well, what were you going to ask?
I was going to say, how impressed have you been with Third Time Lucky, and do you actually see him as a live festival candidate up against? Like, is he the best of British, and could he cut it against the Irish, or do you think he just won a weak race last time?
It's November. It's hard enough to find the winners now than it is in 4 or 5 months' time. I was really impressed with him last time. He did everything that he needed to do. The race totally fell apart, in my opinion. Anyone betting British horses for any race at the festival at this moment in time must be crazy. Did they not see that that Britain only had 5 winners last festival? I just couldn't entertain anti-post betting on the festival at the moment. It just I don't know what price Third Time Lucky is actually for the Arkle. Do you know? I didn't even consider it.
Yeah, I can get it up for you. Go on. What were you going to ask?
I think it'll be the same price on the day. I was just going to say, Wincanton last week, Mick Pastor went through that race, 95% of it, like he was going to hose up. His jumping was fantastic. He was so accurate and if he cannot get past Captain Tomcat at Wincanton, he's not going to do it at Cheltenham because his finishing effort was really, really poor. So I would agree with Adele and Deasy. It was just that I was so impressed with Mick Pastor's jumping because I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I had backed Captain Tomcat and I thought, oh God, I've backed another loser. Because he was just so good the whole way round, but his finishing effort was appalling. And I think he is a bit keen, but Paul Nicholls' horses that wear nosebands, I avoid because I think he's trying to get them to put their head down. And Mick Pastor's one of them.
I thought the interesting thing on Third Time Lucky that Dan Skelton has said is that he likes him chasing because he just slows down a bit, and that was his problem over hurdles. On the Arkle betting, Third Time Lucky is 15.0, and you've got Appreciate It, Bob Ollinger, Fernie Hollow, and My Drogo, who we're going to see very soon if you're watching this live in a match. But Third Time Lucky is, 5th in currently, so there you are. Right, let's kick on. I think we've got much else to add on that one. Let's move on to the 2:15, and this gets a little bit more competitive. So currently, Lawler on first start for a new yard is 8.0. Al Dancer on first start for a new yard is 8.4. Protectorat doesn't head the betting. I'm surprised. 9.0. Zanza is 12.5. Midnight Shadow is 14.0. Galahad Quest is 15.0. And then into the bigger prices with Caribbean Boy and Simply the Bets and Cool Cody, there's 17.5, 19.5, 20.0. Okay. DC, I'll come to you first. Who do you like for the Paddy Power Gold Cup and why?
Yes, I like a good few of them. I think I actually have 3 down on the little dock here that we have because I couldn't nail my colours to one. So the first that I'm going for is Nietzsche. Brian Ellison's horse. He won the Great Wood there 2 or 3 years ago. I put him up for the Ultima in the festival, but he just didn't quite stay home while running very well. Finished 8th, but he just didn't stay the full trip of the 3 mile one. He went out next time out then and absolutely hosed up at Ayr on good ground. He's in here now. He's running near the bottom of the weights. He's had a little prep on the flat a month ago. His price, he was a much bigger price now before Dex. He was 34.0 to start of the week. Now he's down about. Sorry, did you give his price there? I'll have him here.
Feel free to update any of the bigger prices that go.
Sorry, he's 26 by now here now on the exchange. I think he's a lovely bet to win a place, but I'll be going probably small win and probably a quarter win and 3/4 place because this is very competitive. Another one near him in the betting is Man of the Mountain. Now at the October meet last year, there was a massive gamble on him in his race where he was behind Frodan. I think he was. He ended up winning at the course over the new course at the end of last season on very good ground. He beat Magic Saint by 4.5 lengths over 2.5 miles. Ran very well in his comeback there against Painted Dream at Chepstow. Again, I think he's just a bit overlooked in the market at the price he is. He's 23.0. And the last one I'm going to give a mention to is last year's winner, Cool Cody. I won't go on about him too much. I'll let Adele make the case for him because she has him in as well. But I thought he's rock solid horse. He's very good in this last year. Hasn't really run a bad race since. I mean, this is his goal. This is his Gold Cup for the year. They'd love to win it a second time. He's not too high in the weights. He's, Evan Williams will have him spot on for us, and I think he's a great bet to definitely hit the top 5. I don't know if he'll win. Again, there could be a few more in here that are better handicapped than him, but he's a nice horse.
Take it there, all win and place. Nietzsche, Man of the Mountain, Cool Cody.
Yeah.
Adele, you can flesh out the Cool Cody case, and I know he's 1 or 2 for you.
Yeah, it is a hard race, and nothing I can kind of like pin myself on to like have a decent win bet on. They were purely like small win and then place bets. Midnight Shadow is one of them for Sue and Harvey Smith, who ran well at Cheltenham a couple of times last season. He's already got a run under his belt. A little bit of a untidy jump second from last at Aintree last time, but he stayed on well, and my friend rides him out, and he looked like he's going really well. I keep watching him on Facebook just to see how he's going. So I've got him down because he's a big price, 14.0, and then Cool Cody, who won the race last season and already got a run under his belt. I've gone for 2 that have already got runs under their belts. I think it'll be beneficial for them tomorrow. So Cool Cody, that was a decent reappearance run, and both of them are big prices. So like I said, nothing I could really pin myself on for a big win bet. I would be looking at both of them to have a small win and then play them at the place market because they've got nice prices.
I'll just jump in next only because DC mentioned one of mine that's going. I hope be my main fancy in the race, which is Man of the Mountain. I don't know what it was over 3 miles last year because he stays 3, but it was awful. And he ran bad at Newbury after that on softer ground. I think he wants a sound surface. He's won at the course and he's had a prep run as well. And I just would rather have. I can absolutely see why Lawler on first start for Nichols would win. Al Dancer on first start. I can see he's well treated for Sam Thomas. Protectorat, so a Grade 1 winner. So fine, maybe he'll go and win. But I just thought I quite like what we know about Man of the Mountain, which is that he likes the course. I like horses that are up in the van as well over this course and distance. And particularly over fences at Cheltenham on the old course as well, and he's not going to be too far away. And I just thought he was a really big price in comparison to some of those imponderables for New Yards at the top of the betting. And the other one I want to back is Spirit of the Games because I'm mad, and he hasn't won for 3 years, and he nearly won this at there was the December race, wasn't it, at 41.0 a few years ago. He was second in this race last year. He's well treated off 144. He gets on well with Bridget Andrews. The cheek pieces went on when he finished behind Happy Go Lucky at Aintree and actually ran really well. That's good form. So yeah, I can see lots of reasons why he won't win, but I'll be backing him win and place. But like Adele with hers, bigger in the place market. But I just don't want to leave him out. Steve Jones.
Yeah, it's an interesting. It's so competitive, this race. But the interesting stats for me is no top weight is won since Bradbury Star, God knows how long ago. And it's sort of against my usual betting theory that you're much better off carrying more weight in lesser grade than you are carrying a lightweight in a higher grade. But these very competitive handicaps that this is, it does seem to favour horses that have got a little bit less weight and a little bit less exposed. And the least exposed horse in the field is Galahad Quest on 10-7. Only a 5-year-old, only run 4 times over fences, but his jumping has been very, very good. It was good at Wetherby last time. He was 3rd behind Good Boy Bobby, who is very good on his day. I thought that was an excellent return to action. He just travelled and jumped through that really impressively. I thought the run would improve him a lot. If you go back to last season, his Haydock win was very good. He beat Faraday, who's also in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. That was on soft ground. He has run in France. He won at Cheltenham over hurdles a couple of seasons ago on soft ground. But he's flat-bred. He's by American Post, who was obviously... he won the Racing Post Trophy one year, and he's bred to like better ground. Now, I was watching him at Wetherby on the replay, and he gallops like a horse that wants better ground. So if that's the case, I think he's going to have this set up for him. They're obviously going to go a decent gallop with the likes of Cool Cody and various other front runners in there. Who Cool Cody won last year. I think he's got a bit of a chance. I mean, you can give a chance to a load of them, but Galahad Quest, I really like his profile, and I think a nice sort of. I think he's about 13.0. He's got a lot of potential, this horse. It's a tough race, but he's got a lot going for him.
Galahad Quest for Steve. Peter's Punts has said afternoon. It's Cheltenham, and I think Peter sums up every jumps racing fan who is you can't explain for some reason. It's just like Cheltenham fever. It's just jumps. Basically, jumps fans are just mad. That's the best way I can put it. Just it's like runs in their blood, particularly Cheltenham. So there you go. That was a load of waffle. Right, on we go for the next. Let's move on to the 250. So we've got Dragon Bones is 4.9. I didn't think she'd be favourite. There you go. Ballymilsey is 5.7. On a Gathering Storm is 9.0. Kansas City Chief is 9.8. Sporting John is 10.0. Valentino Dancer 13.5. And then we get into the bigger field prices. Prashima 3.75. I missed out. Apologies. Is the one that heads the market. So there you go. Dragon Bones is second in. Prashima is 3.75 at the top of the betting for this 3 mile listed handicap hurdle. Right, we've got some agreement here and some not agreement. So first of all, Adele, you can make the case for the one we both fancy.
Prashima, and he ran really well at Wetherby. First start over 3 miles. I think himself and Indefatigable. I think they both benefited having the fact that they'd had a run under the belt that day. But 3 miles at Wetherby's not quite the same as 3 miles at Cheltenham. So I'm just going to kind of go against the fact that he hasn't yet won over 3 miles, and I'm going to go with Dragon Bones because she's a real strong stayer, and she's got a really nice, likeable attitude. I think probably the winner last time out probably just got first run in her. But like I said, strong stayer. She's got a really nice attitude. A winning attitude is what I would call it. And I'm just thinking I didn't think she'd be favourite though, to be honest with you. But she's still not bad at 4.9.
Yeah, she's second in. Sorry, so Prashima is 3.75. So she's second in.
Second in. That's not bad. I think that's a great price for her. Cracking price.
I'll follow you in on her just because the only thing that I'd add is the yard and the same owners won this a few years ago with First Assignment, I think it was. I'd imagine they've had this at the back of their mind for a while. Yeah, I think she's got a really good chance and bumped into Bardenstown lad last time, who's I think probably a very good horse, and finished ahead of On a Gathering Storm as well, but she was getting weight. So I would imagine they targeted this. I think she's progressive, and I think a mark of 132 is kind of fair enough, to be honest. So I think she's a fair price, and I'm very much with Dragon Bones. DC.
I'm going for Fergal O'Brien's horse, Valentino Dancer. Just waiting for my page down here. So he's 3 wins since moving to Fergal O'Brien. He's won on the hurdles and flat, and he was unlucky last time. He was pipped on the line at Chepstow after what looked like just a superbly judged ride by Paddy Brennan. He just had him sitting in behind him, made his move 2 furlongs out, and the horse that beat him, Master's Legacy, came from absolutely miles back. But he was ahead of All Mankind that day, and Gilich, Micheál, Flick Vayu. I think there's a bit up his sleeve. I'm happy enough that Conor Brace is on him. He's I like him as a jockey, and again, he's a big enough price. He's 14.0. I think he's probably well handicapped, and he can go. I think he'll go very close in this, so I'll do him win place.
That is Valentino Dancer win place. Is Steve Jones? Is having a drink of water? Time that perfectly.
We have
water's
beautiful.
Down.
Beautiful. I'm on Fergal's other one, On a Gathering Storm. I'm not someone who is desperately keen on pounds and lengths and all that, but On a Gathering Storm is better off at the weights with Dragon Bones, finishing third in that race behind Bardenstown lad at the last meeting at Cheltenham. But On a Gathering Storm was bang there at the last, and I thought just the fitness might have just caught On a Gathering Storm out. That's a bit unusual for Fergal O'Brien's horses, but I definitely thought On a Gathering Storm would take a fair step forward for that, and I don't think he's is far behind Dragon Bones in terms of ability as that run might suggest. And if you go back to last season, he was a very promising horse. He won at Aintree, albeit in what eventually was a 2-runner race. But his win before that at Warwick was very good in a maiden hurdle, and that form wasn't the worst at all. And the other good thing with this, it's all good ground form, and that's what he's likely to get in this race. So again, it's a tricky. There's a few angles in. I'm the same with Adele. I want to be against Proshima over this sort of test, and the one I think is the one to be on is On a Gathering Storm.
Deasy, you're not worried that Jonesy's gone for the other O'Brien runner and he can basically see Fergal's gallop from his window?
No.
Got to be a concern, no?
No.
I might be able to see his gallop almost. All I see is all these brown animals running up there. I don't know which is which.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Look, I was a bit concerned as well that Paddy Brennan is on a Gathering Storm, but it's great. I fancy Valentino Danced last time, right? He ran very well.
When you go to a yard, and like Adele will know this perfectly well, when the trainer does a bit of showing off when they're all coming up and they're like, oh, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. Half the time I think they could just be making it up. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have a clue.
I went
absolutely making it up. They could say anything.
Sorry.
Showed him the wrong one. None of us even noticed.
Exactly.
I stood on Nigel Twiston Davis's gallops once. Jim Old, and his head lad that they call Sparky. And Nigel was going, oh, that's that. And Sparky said, no, boss, no, that's that. And he turned around and he said, you've made me look right. I'm not doing it anymore.
Hence why the odd time you get the wrong one while racing. Some of them are so similar. Like there'd be nothing that, no markings on them, nothing.
I bet Nigel did not like that. Right, anyway, on we move to the... God, this is tough. I've set out the 325. This is the intermediate handicap hurdle. I couldn't make head nor tail of it, and it was a bit of a guess up for me. Unexpected Party is 4.3. Micheál Deasy is 4.7. Benson is 9.0. Gal Road and Good Time Johnny are 10.5. Pyramid Place 13.5. And then we're into the bigger prices, so I won't go through all of them. Okay. Steve, I'll come to you first of all, because Micheál Deasy was probably the closest I got, but I chickened out, so you can make the case.
Micheál Deasy won really nicely last time at Aintree on the handicap debut, and Ollie Murphy's horses are in great form. I thought that was quite a nice little race, and he won with quite a lot up his sleeve last time. Pounding Poet, the runner-up, he'd been in really good form. It was on a hat trick, and Micheál Deasy, although he hung a bit, I think it was greenness rather than anything. And another one who's got good ground form in the book. So it is. I thought Breffney Boy was an interesting one. Joined Philip Hobbs from Johnny Farrelly, who was obviously warned off. And that horse did a lot of winning last year, and I don't think he's stopped winning. So Breffney Boy is a big price at 15s. But for the win, I think Micheál Deasy is probably the one. And Ollie Murphy's just banging in the winners all over the place at the moment.
Do you want me to stick you down for a bit of Breffney Boy at that price or not, Steve? You're not going to support him?
I don't know. It's got a good chance, but it's a tricky old race. Maybe right. small stakes.
I feel like
I feel
like I've talked you in off the back of Safer Gambling Week, and that's not the right thing to do. So I'm going to stick to your guns. Adele, who do you like?
Oh, I found this really hard because some of them I like for different reasons, and I think I would like them if they were running somewhere else, if you get my drift. Dan Skelton's horse, Unexpected Party, when he won at Wetherby, the form it's hard to know whether he's beat anything, but he did it very well. He was visually very impressive. I presume he was probably quite fragile, and it's taken a little bit of maturing as a 6-year-old. So I'm just not gonna go with him. I'm actually gonna go with a horse that I've had in my tracker for a while, and that's Punchestown Phil of Brian Ellison's, who I backed in his bumper at Newcastle when Ben Robinson rode him. He's absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, he's such a nice looking horse. He'll definitely win the best turned out award. When you look at him, he looks like a horse that you'd want to ride yourself. He's gorgeous. He's a nice, big, strong stamp. He won at Sedgefield last time out, and I presume Brian's running him I suppose he'll want to know where he's at, because the form wouldn't be that great either from Sedgefield. So he's just one that I'm going to just have a little nibble on at the place market. He'll be a big price. Brian really likes him. He's a really nice horse. He's only a 4-year-old still, I think, is he? And he's taken a little bit of time maturing as well. So I suppose we'll find out a little bit more about him tomorrow. But I have got him in my tracker. I just thought we'd see him probably up north again somewhere at some point this season. So I'll keep an eye on him. Just have a little small place bet on him. He won on Groundhog Day, didn't he? Newcastle, yeah.
Just Punchestown, Phil?
Yeah, I thought it was a tricky one, to be honest with you.
Fine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with him. Benson was one I thought that would run well first time out, given his form as well. He goes well fresh, but it is tricky now that I'm hearing everyone else's opinions. I'm like, I think I'll go steady.
Yeah, Punchestown, Phil, it is for you. But Deasy's got a couple. King of the Jumps, take it away.
So the first one, not as hot in this, not the second one, but I'm going to give him a shot anyway. It's Pyramid Place, Milton Harris's horse. So Milton Harris won this race last year with Stimulating Song. He's given this horse a very similar prep. He had the season debut at Chepstow, went off at a big price and was only beaten 3/4 a length by a Nicky Henderson horse. But he ran very well. He was well ahead of Hellraid and Cabot Clips and Castlaloopy, all kind of decent enough handicap level horses. There's been a small bit of money from him as well. He was a bigger price earlier in the week. I think he's there about 11.0 now. So I'd have a little winning place betting him. But the other one, and this was very close to being my best bet, but there's just too many variables about him, is Good Time Johnny, Tony Martin's horse. Now, he won at Gorham Park on the 1st of October. Landing gamble, he went off 2.5, but I think he was gambled in from about 4.0 on the day. He was smashed up, and that was a week after he tried to land a gamble with him at Listowel, where he finished third to Charles Burns horse, who as well was outrageously well handicapped. So they've freshened him up now, give him a little break. He is running off 6 pounds more than his Irish mark, which is pretty much standard for Irish horses coming over here. Tony Martin sent a good few horses over this year. For this meeting, and I just think that you cannot ignore a Tony Martin horse kind of in a handicap like this. He's 6. There could be loads of improvement in him, and I think at the price he's well worth a winning place bet.
Okay, so those two, Pyramid Place and Good Time Johnny for DC. Okay, best bets time. Saturday best bets. So we'll start with DC. Who is your best bet on Saturday?
I would think I went with Nietzsche in the end. Found it very hard to pick one out of these, but I'm going to go for Nietzsche. Just winning place, mainly place, 75% place, I think.
Nietzsche in the feature for you. Steve, who do you like?
I'm going off piste. I'm going to Utoxeter, 317, Zulu Dawn. One of the Fergal O'Briens that he's inherited from Graham McPherson.
Zulu Dawn at Utoxeter in that 317. Adele, your best bet?
I was going to try and get one at Wetherby, which is where I'll be on Saturday. It's Peaky Blinders Day. I could have done with Jones's hat collection, couldn't I? I've got to dress up. But there was nothing I could kind of like pin myself on. I rode out Cornerstone Lad the other day. He's absolutely bouncing. But I don't know if the ground will be soft enough for him. But honestly, he felt so well. With the race cutting up, I suppose they're deciding to run him. But I'm going to stick with Dragon Bones. I think she's a cracking price. And she's just got that really good winning attitude. So hopefully she'll put her best foot forward.
I am going to agree with Dragon Bones as well. Yeah, Dragon Bones for me. I'm going to follow you in there. I think she's well treated. Although it's the best bet of a tricky bunch, I thought. Right, let's move on to Sunday. Sunday looks like this. We start with the Grade 3 handicap chase, 145 at Cheltenham. And let me give you the prices for this. I'll get it up for you. And we'll finish up with the Morgiana, don't forget as well. So, let me wait. What I should be doing is making you aware of the sign-up offer. I apologise. I want to do that before we get into Sunday, and then I'll have the prices for Sunday. So we have a new sign-up offer for you. It's a £15 welcome offer. It's money back as cash if your first bet loses. It's new customers only. Use the bonus code INSIGHTSRF for that, and that's the letters RF. So INSIGHTSRF for that. Place your first bet. If it loses, we'll refund your stake as cash. The full terms and conditions are on the MatchBet website. £15 welcome offer, money back as cash if your first bet loses. Use Insights RF. 18 plus. Be gamble aware. Right. Sunday, the 145s, grade 3 handicap chase staying contest, just the 6. And currently they bet like this. Empire the Mould is 5.0. Yala Enki is 7.0. Go Another One is 7.0. Rocky's Treasure 11.0. The Mighty Don 11.0. And Forza Milana is outsider of the bunch at 17.0. I will come to you, Steve, first of all. A couple of you in agreement. Who do you like?
Empire de Mould, who I was really impressed with last time at Kelso. Another horse that likes good ground, is in form, has had a run or had more than one run. So I think this is a progressive chaser, Empire de Mould, with Brian Hughes coming down to ride, which is a tip in itself, really, because although there's no racing up in the north, I suppose. But I really like this horse, and I think there's reasons to oppose a lot of the others, like Yala Enki would have preferred it much softer, and the Mighty Don's jumping isn't great. And so, yeah, I'm confident Empire de Mould will win on Sunday.
Adele, I think you're with Empire de Mould as well. What do you want to flesh out the case with?
Yeah, he's a really nice horse. He's very progressive, as Steve's already said. And they were actually thinking about putting him away for the spring. The Scottish National was on the target, but I presume because the ground's still in quite good condition, because he likes good ground. So I presume, and this race looks perfectly for him to back up his win at Kelso last time out. He's a good jumper. Barely missed a beat at Kelso. This will be his first trip down to Cheltenham, but he's a strong stayer, and I think the track will suit him well. And as I said, I think it's a perfect opportunity for him, really, before he does have probably a break and come back in the spring when the ground turns a little bit softer.
DC, we agree then. We're in the other corner.
I'm just trying to figure out here now where Jonesy gets his idea that the Mighty Don's jumping isn't very good. He completes every time. And he was second Happy Go Lucky at the December meeting last year, and he was staying all day. And Happy Go Lucky was, he was a good horse. He went on to better things as well. So that's decent enough for him. And I thought here just at the prices, he's the only one I completely rolled up was Yala Enki, and Forza Milana obviously isn't running. But I just thought the prices the way he done is well worth a win bet in this, because Empire de Mould was very good now last time, and he's very progressive, but this is a different level altogether, and I do value course form whenever I'm looking at Cheltenham races, and the way he done has it. He's placed a few times here, and he's won here as well, so I think he's a nice bet in this.
Yeah, I like the Mighty Don as well. The only thing that concerns me a bit about him is his jumping. That's not true, but I just thought I'd say that. I hadn't really thought about his jumping. I know he made an error a couple of starts ago, didn't he, when the rider lost his irons? But I just think on that happy-go-lucky form, he's really well treated. But to be completely honest, I work with a guy called Josh Stacey, who's I think is a very good judge, and we were chatting about the Sunday card. And I was probably going to sit this out. And then he brought me back to that run behind Happy Go Lucky, because I was banging on about Happy Go Lucky. I think I can completely see it at the prices. I think it's a massive price. So he'd be my selection. But I was very much guided there, and then I can see it. What about this jumping, Steve? Why?
Because I don't think he's very good at jumping, basically. That run, I mean, if you're all getting excited about that run behind Happy Go Lucky, best of luck to you, because there was only 5 runners, 2 of them pulled up, and the Mighty Don just did what he usually does, and he plugged on from looking like he was going to be well beat. He's not in the same parish as Happy Go Lucky. I I hope he does. He goes on the ground. Nick Gifford's a really good trainer who gets the best out of his horses, but I wouldn't fancy the Mighty Don round there personally. I can remember him running it, winning at Chepstow, and he hit every fence going and still won. So he's got an engine.
Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe he only wins when he does hit everything. So there.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe.
Let's
He beat Inrillo that day. Is that the day around about? It was the Saturday last year.
Good form that.
But if you watch it,
Right,
if you open the form book and say, "Oh yeah, that's what happened," but it was a very different story through the race.
Right, let's kick on. WhatsApp group's gonna be fired up when the Mighty Don actually bolts in.
Is it going to be another? Is it going to be another that horse I said wouldn't stay? I can't even remember
the name. Can't remember the name of the horse. No, Baron Samdi. Right, we kick on to the 220, the Schlur Chase. Is Schlur a non-alcoholic drink? Is that actually what it is?
Yeah.
It's weird that that in saying it, are they trying to be ironic that you sound pissed when you say it? I've never. I think that must be what it is. Anyway,
it probably sounds much more elegant in the language that it's from, French or German or something. Schnell.
Put the Kettle On is right at the head of affairs. Is 2.3. Nuba Negra is 3.0. Politologue is 6.0, and Rouge Vif is 8.0. Politologue has had a wind up. Okay, so there's a lot of Put the Kettle On chat. So I think we should take it away first of all, and then we'll come to the individual who, for some reason, thinks Nuba Negra can win. Put the Kettle On. Adele, take it away.
Put the Kettle On. I don't know what else there is to add about her, to be honest with you. She's fantastic. She's unbeaten there. I love watching her. We just need a repeat performance of any of the wins there, and she wins again. There's only 4 runners. Politologue's one of my favourites as well, but I don't think he'll beat Put the Kettle On. I think she'll win again. Only 4 runners, so I presume it'll be just kept simple. If she wants to go out in front, she will, and if not, she can take a lead. I think she'll win easily.
I am with Put the Kettle On. I think we know how much she loves it here. 4 from 4. The only disappointment was Sandown, but I just don't think that suits her in any way like Cheltenham does that way round, and also the nature of Sandown. This place suits her brilliantly. Even the Shacken form from Christmas time was excellent, and then obviously she reversed that in the Queen Mother, where she beat Nuba Negra fair and square. Same terms. There's just not enough between them in the betting for me to leave her alone. So Put the Kettle On for me. DC.
Yeah, you said it there. I mean, like, I watched the race again last night, and I'm like, you've seen all the stuff. Nuba Negra was the unluckiest horse at Cheltenham, but like, he wasn't really. I think Put the Kettle On probably idled a small bit in front and got going again. Yeah, I just think she's a solid bet. She always wins at Cheltenham, so why not?
Agreed. And then we come to Steve, who Helen is along. She's described you as looking a bit Bond villain, and you are, because you're going against Put the Kettle On. So go on your own, Steve. Nuba Negra.
I love it when someone else puts the kettle on. That's one thing I do like. Nuba Negra is virtually the same horse as Put the Kettle On that Champion Chase form. Had Nuba Negra jump the last a bit cleaner, I think Nuba Negra would have won the Champion Chase, but I think it'll be running a decent gallop. Politologue obviously loves to go out in front, so just Put the Kettle On, and Nuba Negra just sitting behind and pick him up in the closing stages. Got a good record fresh. It's one first time out last year, being a horse called that you may have heard of called Altior. And then before that, it won first time out. So good record fresh, and it's a very good horse.
Would you describe Dan Skelton as quite a competitive guy, Steve?
Dan, I suppose he has to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
No, he after the race where you think Nuba Negra would have beaten Put the Kettle On. He said, we had a little momentum check at the back of the last, but that's not cost us. Fair play to the winner. She's a gritty mare. We can't grumble.
Only beaten half a length, maybe. Yeah, doesn't that really have to find much, does it? Beaten half a length, having not jumped the last is clean. I personally, I don't really write down what trainers say and then take it as read. I've learned from experience it doesn't really work very well.
Cheltenham put a little video out this morning, was it, of Kettle on out on the track. She looked $1 million. Like, she looked great. I felt even better.
It's a bit like.
Are you sure it wasn't New? Are you sure it wasn't Nuba Negra?
No,
because they're virtually the same horse, apparently. So
it's a bit like Tom. Every time he comes on this podcast, he looks $1 million lira.
Right, I'm looking forward to it. I wasn't that excited about the Schlur, but now I am very excited. 3 shouts for Put the Kettle on, 1 shout for Nuba Negra. On we go to the 255. This is the Great Way Handicap Hurdle, and goodness me, it's as difficult as you would expect. Right at the top of the betting currently is, as it loads up, I'll tell you, No Ordinary Joe is 6.0, 7.0 for West Cork. Is that near you, Dees?
That's where I'm from.
Yeah,
Best Cork. West Cork is Best Cork.
West Cork is Best Cork.
Yeah.
For Harry and Dan Skelton, first up for 631 days, Adagio is 12.0, Advanced Virgo, Charles Burns 13.0, Tritonic 13.0. I won't read them all because that would just be boring, but I will give you the prices if they are tipped up. Okay, Steve, straight back to you.
I was watching the festival last season, and I noted that Ireland won a lot of races. And Emmett Mullins also won this race last year with the Shunter. So I'm going for a horse called Bua Boy, who is trained in Ireland by Dennis Hogan and has got some really progressive form. And I think his best form is on good ground. He was not beaten far in a big field handicap at Galway, and then he backed that up last time at Listowel when the ground was a little bit softer. But he does like this kind of ground. I think big fields suit him well, and it about 17.0. I think Bua Boy in a really difficult race. But you mentioned some of those at the top of the market. No Ordinary Joe was in the novice hurdle, and his jumping hasn't been blemish free. He's only run 3 times over hurdle. So West Cork's coming back off after nearly 2 years off the track. There's a lot of reasons to take the ones on at the front of the betting. So Bua Boy for me.
And you're not the only one putting up an Irish horse. DC, you've got a couple?
I do. One English, one Irish. I'll go off the Irish one first. The Irish one is Jesse Evans, Noel Mead's horse. He finished 4th in the Galway Hurdle behind Salday during the summer. Ran a cracker. Stayed up the hill very well. That was really what caught my eye, is that he just made ground up. There's a very steep hill in Galway, and if you stay up that hill, you should be able to get up the Cheltenham hill as well. They've sharpened up now with 2 little runs in the flat there recently. On a Thurles, and he won last time out at Navan again, staying up the hill very well at Navan. She's running off, I think, 6 pounds higher than the Irish mark again here now, but Owen Walsh takes off 5, so kind of that negates it. Again, it's a nice price. He's up near the top of the weights. That's okay, though. I think he probably is well handicapped, and he's a nice win place bet. The other horse then is Cormier, Brian Ellison's horse. We'll be doing a little Brian Ellison connections double, I think, with Nietzsche as well at this horse. This horse finished 7th in this last year, off 3 pounds higher. Now, the trainer did a similar thing with Nietzsche a few years ago. Nietzsche ran in the year before, finished 6th or 7th, came back the next year on less weight and absolutely bolted up. I like Cormier as a horse as anyway. He's been in my track for a while, I think, since he beat Favour last year. He's and he had a few wins in the flat there during the summer. I think there's more to come from. And again, this will obviously have been the plan. So I think at around the price of 15 or 16.0, he's a nice win place bet as well. Although there was a good few in this. This was a tough race. Just and the other horse, just for a second there, Advanced Virgo was supposed to be Charles Burns' horse for I think it's the Labrook Hurdle that he wins every year at the Dublin Racing Festival. He was well punt the flat, but didn't land the blow. But there's been money for him. Like, you can't really. ignore Charles Bourne money too much. If the money keeps coming for him, like, it's definitely worth a win bet, I'd say, if he shortens up much more.
But officially for you, you're going to sit with Jesse Evans and Cormier.
Yeah.
Adele?
Do you know, I really liked Adagio, but I just would have preferred David's horses just to have been in a bit better form. That's the only negative with him. So I've come down on Camprond. Is it Camprond? Who his jumping isn't probably all that great. I think I'll be watching from behind my hands because he absolutely whacks some of the hurdles sometimes. But he's got a serious engine. So hopefully if he gets round in one piece, Cheltenham clearly suits him. I know it was only 3 run a race that he won last time out, but he showed a bit of versatility by making his own running. Just hope he picks his legs up a little bit more. I don't know why he's so bad. I think if he was to jump a fence, he might kind of back him off and appreciate them a little bit more. But over hurdles, he just doesn't seem to have any respect for them. But anyway, he seems to get round in one piece and he seems to get the job done. So hopefully he can do it again on Sunday. And he's not a bad price, so you can back him at the place market. I thought it was a tricky one. I would have really liked Adagio. I was looking forward to seeing him this season. Just would have liked David's horses to have been in a bit better form.
Well, I have gone Adagio, and I totally take that point that his horses aren't exactly flying. I think he's only had 1 winner in the last few weeks, but he's a big enough price at 12.0 to play. He's had his win done. I just don't think he gets... I mean, he was 3rd in a Triumph. I know he's top weight here. I think he would have gone very close last time in the race won by Montmirail. Maybe he wouldn't have won, but I thought he was good value for giving the winner and the favourite something to seriously think about then. And I just, he's got the right sort of profile for this race. I just really don't think he quite gets... I think he's a really good horse, and I think he's a bit underestimated. But I do take the point about where the pipe horses are, perhaps, but I think he's a big enough price to play. And I've also gone for Jesse Evans because I definitely wanted an Irish horse on side, and he was the one I liked out of most of them, mainly because he's definitely going to be race fit. I think he wants a soundish surface, and he certainly gets that here. And Noel Mead's going along quite nicely. He had a very nice bumper winner yesterday. So he would be my other one, Jesse Evans. Right, let's kick on to the last race from Cheltenham that we're going to be looking at. This is the Supreme Trial. And prices are as follows. Not the biggest field for this. I'd say that again. We've only got 4. I like to move it then is 2.8. 5.0 for Washington. Sonigino is 7.0 and 9.0 for Picard. We're a team steam here with I like to move it. I confess to really only adding it because I wasn't going to put anything up. Then I thought we've got to have one team steam. And I've been relatively impressed with what he's done so far. He batted Tritonic out the way last time. Who would be strongest on this? Who really fancies the horse I like to move it? A show of hands. That's good. Yes, good. Adele and Deasy at least. Go on, Deasy. Tell me about I like to move it.
Yeah, he was really, really good last time. And he course and distance farming is. I look at Washington. I thought he did well, but I think just I like to move it was visually very impressive here at the course. Been there and done it. Picard, sure, he's gonna strafe my bumper into this. You have no idea what he's like. And Sangino again, like there's too much unknowns there. The 2 horses I picked out to give I like to move it, a bit of trouble are running today. So that wasn't much good to me, and that just left me with him. I think he'll win. He's a sharp price. I think he should win this.
Adele?
Yeah, I think he should win it. I tipped him last time, but I didn't think he would do it quite as well. He actually kind of surprised me even more. Just to repeat that, I suppose more than anything, I thought Sam gave him a nice ride. He looks he doesn't look a tricky ride, does he? He looks very uncomplicated. So I think it'll just be a straightforward win for him again. I think on Sunday.
It's a good time last time as well. Jonesy, what do you want to add to I like to move it?
Yeah, he's looks like he sets the standard, but that doesn't mean that some of the others can't reach that standard. He is a bit short, but I wouldn't get carried away with it with horses like Sonny Gino, who you've no idea what he's like, and Washington's unbeaten. So yeah, he's the one for me. I like to move it, but I wouldn't get carried away too much at a short price.
Yeah, I am with you, but I'd echo those sentiments just because it's a bit of a could be anything race, but I thought he's the right favourite and the one to beat. I like to move it. We kick on to Punchestown then. So the feature at Punchestown on the Sunday, which is the Morgiana Hurdle. And I mean, it's all in all, it's a very good card on Sunday with a good graded novice chase as well. But 2 mile Morgiana Hurdle is the 2:05, and 2.3 is Echoes in Rain. 4.5, sorry, Sharjah. Abracadabras is 6.0. Zanahir 9.0. Daraso 26.0. Right, Echoes in Rain first of all. Adele, why Echoes in Rain?
I was actually going to go Sharjah, but after reading all the bits and pieces, what Willie Mullins said about him probably needing the run, that kind of put me off him then. So I've gone for Echoes in Rain. From what I can gather of her work at home, they seem to be really pleased with her, and she's obviously quite she doesn't take a lot getting fit by the sounds of it. I think she a lot of those mares, you know, they kind of a bit jig-joggy at home, they'll get themselves fitter than what you think. She's got the mare's allowance, that's obviously stands her in good stead. So I just, from what I can kind of gather from all the like bits and pieces I've been putting together from what a few of the stables have been saying, I think they must be expecting her to run a big race.
Dees?
She's short enough though, isn't she?
Yeah, well, she's well found. Go on, Dees.
I'd echo that she's short enough, but I think that just look back at her 2 wins at Punchestown there, a win at Punchestown and her win at Fairy House there towards the end of the season. Like, she's very, very good. She looked very easy to win when she came from off the pace and just absolutely smashed them up. She was probably unlucky not to go unbeaten last season, and just I think the heavy ground might have gone against her in that race in Punchestown. But I think she's very good. She could be like a William Mullins mare in this kind of race. Like, you have to be giving them serious respect, and I know that they like her, and I think she should beat this crowd and go on to better things this year, I think.
Steve Jones?
Just that form with Honeysuckle, isn't it, that Sharjah's got, that I think is the standout. Finished second in the Champion Hurdle, finished second in the Champion Hurdle again. I think Sharjah is the one, goes well fresh. Got a lot going from Sharjah.
So Peter's agreed with you. Sharjah goes okay fresh. I was going to go Echoes in Rain. So I got to work with Ruby Walsh yesterday and spent an afternoon throwing the odd question at him. And Echoes in Rain, so he's put that horse in his 10 to follow, Echoes in Rain, because he says he wants to get points on the board early. And the sentiment I got was that Echoes in Rain would be pretty comfortably the better fancied of the two with Sharjah, with Sharjah perhaps just needing to take a step forward for it. But that's not always how it pans out, I know. But then the slight negative I had was I asked why we hadn't seen we hadn't seen her till late. And, you know, she's been tricky. She's very keen going. That's what happened when she was beaten at this track in the Moscow Flyer by The Real Deal. She was really keen. And so they've just taken a while for her to settle down a little bit. She obviously wears that hood. But the slight concern is that, just for me, is that I can't really see where the pace is going to come from. So I don't know. I've been around the houses really, and I'm ending up not backing anything. But if Echoes in Rain was to get a little bit bigger, then I'd be very interested. She's certainly the most likely winner. I just want to see her settle slightly. That was my only.
The pace will come from Zanahir. That's what make the running.
Zanahir will definitely go forward. And the only other thing I just thought I'd relay was that I pinged him a question on Dysart Dynamo, and he said he's an aeroplane. So I thought that horse was just worth flagging up for everyone as a sort of curve. You know, he's not one of the perhaps the top novice hurdlers this year in comparison to some of the bigger names, but I thought he was particularly interesting. He's 2 from 2. There you go. That's the Morgiana. Right, best bets for Sunday. Steve Jones, who's your Sunday best bet, sir?
I will go for Empire de Mold, 145 Cheltenham.
De Mold, 145 Cheltenham. Adele, your best bet?
Well, seeing as we're all on, I like to move it, and not too bad at 2.8. I'm gonna go with him. I think it's a tricky day on Sunday, and he's the only one we can all agree on. So I think I'm gonna stick him up.
I only agreed because you'd all put it. So there you go. DC, you are agreeing.
Yeah, I think he's a very likely winner and the best bet's supposed to win, so let's stick with him.
And I'm going to go with Adagio, who I just think is underestimated. He's not getting the love he deserves. I think he's a really good horse in the Greatwood, top weight in the Greatwood. There we go. Good stuff. Best of luck, everyone. Don't forget to go to insights.matchbook.com for the cheat sheet, if you like, and for all the bets that we put up. And that applies to all the sports as well. DC, Adele, Steve Jones, thank you very much indeed. Enjoy Cheltenham and Punchestown this weekend, everyone, and very best of luck. Bye-bye.